Okay, we've got a 1977 IFL playoff game. Adeline, defending AFC champions, on the road at Irvine. We're joining early second quarter. Had some breaks early in the game. I checked back. It looks like Freddie Solomon fumbled the opening kickoff, and someone else lost a fumble not long after that. We'll take a quick look here in a second. Here's 2nd and 7, short to Ricky Bell, incomplete. Landry 6 of 9 for 64 and touchdown. Yeah, Gary Davis lost the fumble. Looks like with 11:06 remaining on what would have been at the time like Adeline's 5th or 6th play. And after the opening kickoff fumble, it was like Ronnie Coleman punched it in. And then Gary Davis, maybe on the very next play, it looks like fumbled. And so Adeline may have started with like back-to-back fumbles or something close to it. And since then, David Knight caught a big pass. Adeline got down in scoring position, but had to settle for a field goal, it looks like. And Turnell Middleton had a nice return. Haven Moses had a long pass right at the end of the first quarter. And Gaines caught a short touchdown. So that's how we got here. Looks like Dennis is there. Let me grab him real quick. Hey, Dennis.
Howdy. Hey, push it back to full screen again before you leave this.
Sorry, I had my volume turned down. How you doing tonight?
Good. Push it back to full screen before you leave this screen.
Will do.
That's the little box at the bottom. Go back to the other screen, the StreamYard.
Okay. There we go.
There you go. Perfect. So I can fill in a little bit. I heard what you were saying, but I tuned in like right after the kickoff. It was either a long kickoff or a bomb on the first play. And Irvine was starting at like the 25 of Adeline. And then after they got a touchdown, Adeline fumbled the kickoff, and then they got a field goal. And then later on, Landry hit a bomb, guessed wrong on Snake Eyes. And that set up their their second touchdown to make it 17 points.
Big stop for Adeline there.
And Rick was aggressive on fourth down. He could have settled for a field goal on that one. I don't know if you saw that, but he went for it on 4th and 2 to get to keep that drive and turn it into a touchdown instead of just settling for 3.
Oh no, I missed that. So
both teams are coaching well, but it looks like Rick's getting the breaks early.
Yeah. Gary Davis is a pretty good runner this year, and I saw he had a fumble early in the game, but he's had a great year. Very nice running card.
Yes, and there's been a couple of injuries.
Mike Pruitt for the half.
Right, and then Charlie Weaver also for the half, and Irvine lost Coleman for the game.
Oh, wow.
Which is another good runner. And Jay had a question for you, but you weren't there yet, about using Freddie Solomon. Is he allowed to use him as a flanker or split end, either or? And so he wanted to check with you on that. And Rick agreed to let him play as the flanker. So I don't know if there's any ruling on that. If he's a backup receiver and he's carded as both flanker and split end.
Yeah, as long as he's eligible for the game, if he's a backup, he can play either. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Soft tackle Calhoun guessed wrong on 2nd and 6. Only one. Calhoun had a great card in 76. May have been Adeline's best runner last year, but it's got kind of an average card this year. A lot of carries. 4-3.
That's another example of the kind of day it's been for Jay so far. He gets a guess wrong run, and it gets one of the worst rolls on the card.
Yep, can't even get out of contain, much less get a short gain there. Oh, picked off. Ray Brown picks it off, runs it back 25 yards down to the Adeline 6, and Irvine looking to expand on a 17-3 early lead here. It's a short pass to Ricky Bell, gets wrong, and that one's picked off. Big play for Adeline there. They did not want to fall down more than they already are. So big play for Adeline. Rusty Chambers with the pick.
Yeah, it was just about to turn into one of those runaway games, but maybe Jay's got a chance here if we can turn this into points. I looked at it to see if they played each other during the regular season, but it doesn't look like Adeline and Irvine actually faced each other in the regular season, despite being in the same conference.
Yeah, I guess they would have about a 3 and 5 chance of meeting each other in interconference. So here's long to Solomon, double teamed. Craig Morton puts it right on the money, 32-yard pickup. Jay's like, I was due for one of those kind of rolls. Eight for 14, 109 so far from Morton. Still 5 minutes left in the half. No rush. Plenty of time to get the ball in the end zone here for Adeline. Scary Davis going off tackle, no gain. 3 yards of carry so far, 7 for 21. Another long pass, double teamed again. This time he got Barkham, and it'll be incomplete and setting up a 3rd and 10 at the Irvine 48. Both his tight ends, and he uses a 2 tight end set quite a bit. Both these tight ends are really good. So 1-yard pickup, and that's going to set up 4th and 9. Keeping field position, Adeline's going to punt. 3:54 remaining in the first half. It's Dave Jennings. He went for the coffin corner. It did not. It stayed in bounds, but it was not returned. So we get a 33-yard punt. The ball bounces 6 yards. And Irvine's got the ball at their own 8. Adeline's showing blitz. They'd like to do something to get on the board here. Safety, set up another possession quickly, or get the ball back and hopefully go down and get a touchdown, cut this to a 1-score game. So no gain for gains. 2nd and 10. Ricky Bell getting some action today with the injury to Coleman. Here's off tackle gains. Tackle's going to make the block. It'll be a 7-yard pickup, but Adeline is going to take a holding penalty on Irvine. It's going to set them back to their own 4. It'll be 2nd and 14. And Roger Worley goes out for the half. Right cornerback. Art Shell, the veteran, with the block on the play there. Incomplete. Got a couple players here from the charter draft back in '64. Craig Morton, Art Shell. Not many of those guys left. There's only about 6 or 7 of those. The Dallas Steubenville game will have a couple of those too. Mel Renfro's still hanging around as a corner, and Billy Kilmer's still hanging around at quarterback. So guys double dipping, collecting Social Security and NFL checks. So we got a 3rd and 14 after the incompletion to Duke Ferguson. Middle linebacker 6, shotgun. It's going to cut down some of the draw action. There's a draw to gains. He's going to get 6. And he'll get him out to the 10. And 2:24 remaining. We'll see Tom Blanchard on the punt. This goes 45 yards. Eddie Payton, a good returner, gets 8. Payton's not great, but he is a very solid returner with the touchdown on 2. So here's Adeline, ball at the Irvine 47. I believe the same spot they punted from recently. And there'll be a -2 on an off tackle. Jack Ham jumping up, making the play. And so far, Adeline's offense has run into a place quite a bit like that, where it just seems like Irvine is getting the call off the right cards at the right time so far. 2nd and 12, Gary Davis in at the lone running back spot. Maybe looking at 4-down territory based on the score and the clock. There's an end run right, gets wrong for Davis. It's going to pick up 4. It's going to set up, and he gets out of bounds. Set up 3rd and 8 at the Irvine 45.
It helps to have the time like this if you're going to go for it, because then you can, you leave the other player with a little bit less time than they normally would have to make that, hurt you in the end. With only a minute left, assuming he doesn't pick this up.
Yeah, if you get to a 4th and 8, you'd rather, if you're on offense, you'd almost rather it be a little bit more or a little bit less time. There's a pickup of 6. Now you definitely go for it, I think. Down 2 scores, you got to be aggressive and try to cut this. You're not giving up much if you don't make it anyway.
Somebody needs to look at these CMs. They keep suggesting to do field goals, thinking that the goalposts are up 10 yards at the goal line or something.
Yes. Okay, 4th and 2. Gary Davis will be the lone setback. Trying to tempt Rick into a key. We'll see. There's off tackle right. Davis will be guessed right. Big play for Adeline. He gets it, 1st down. 3-yard pickup. Tough yards for Gary Davis. Adeline uses their first timeout. 37 seconds left. So we've got possibly 6 plays.
You know what? I'm going to stand corrected. I guess I'll go ahead and do this play first.
It's an end run left, gets wrong. Calhoun. He gets 4. It's not a huge pickup, but it gets you into the edge of field goal range. Adeline's kicker's not too good. He struggled during the regular year. We'll take a quick look at him.
Yeah, when I told you that there was a long kickoff return, it wasn't that. I didn't realize that Adeline fumbled both their first 2 kickoffs. So I just was looking to see who would get the ball first, but it looks like Adeline was due to. They got the ball in the first half and they fumbled it on the very opening kickoff.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking just based on the time it occurred. It looked like, I think, 14:42 or something. I was like, looks like they lost the opening kickoff, and Gary Davis scored a few plays later, and then it looks like maybe Gary Davis fumbled on the next possession. So 3rd and 6 at the 32, and again, we're just looking at 2 through 5 field goal range, even if the wind doesn't make that worse. So down 14, Jay might go for it on 4th and 6 here. There's a loss of 2. He's just not getting good rolls right now. He's going to go for a long field goal chance. 15 seconds, you're almost for sure. We'll see if he fakes it. No. 15 seconds left. You're almost for sure looking at a field goal attempt, even if you converted. So understand, but it's a low field goal chance. I'm sure Jay would have rather had a couple of better rolls on some of those flat passes there. You don't usually lose yardage on flats as often as he has in this game. So Greg Landry's just going to take a knee, and number 1 seed Irvine take a 17-3 lead into the locker room, and they will receive the second half kickoff. So Matt Pruitt will be back. He was only injured for the half, and Coleman will be still out. So we've had 2 first-round games. Chiba City knocked out Memphis in the first game, and then we've also had Wilmington winning over St. Louis. Steubenville, Dallas is Dale's got stuff going on right now in school, and so it's been delayed. We may hopefully play that game sometime like tomorrow afternoon. But so far, the higher seeds done well in these games. Adeline's got a good squad. They're a running team. There's plenty of time, 17-3. But you don't really want to be way far behind with any quarterback, really, in 1977. Morton definitely falls into the category there as well. Chiba City's got a great short right quarterback with Fouts, but there's not a lot of those kind of guys around the league at this particular juncture in the NFL. Adeline would like to see one of those turnovers come up some point here, maybe in the third quarter, give them a chance to flip the script here. They had 3 turnovers, I believe, in the first half. Fumbled opening kickoff. Maybe that's a fumble. Wow, with no plays. Looks like it was another fumble kickoff. A 16-play, 87-yard drive, but only got a field goal out of it. Those really hurt. Get a drive that long and unable to get the full 7. And then it looks like a punt, interception, punt, missed field goal, whereas Irvine started with touchdown, field goal, touchdown, punt. Very short field starting at the Adeline 6, then through an interception, punt, end of half. And 21-yard return out to the 31, Turdell Middleton, extremely dangerous kickoff returner. Ricky Bell, 13, fatigued. And Clark Gaines, 15, unfatigued. There's Gaines for 4. Take a look at Ricky Bell real quick. He definitely has a great card coming ahead. I believe it's 79. So the line buck to Gaines, guessed right, will get nothing. Nice call there. Knocks down a 15-yarder. It'll be 3rd and 6. Irvine at their own 35. Opening moments, second half. It's a short incomplete, and that's going to be interference. It's going to set up the first down out at the 46. 13-12 remaining, third quarter. Duke Ferguson, Haven Moses, the wide receivers for Irvine. Andre Tillman, tight end. There's an off tackle, wrong gains, gets 5 yards. Jimmy Webb, unable to make the play. White roll 6. So we'll set up 2nd and 5. Got Jack Lambert and Matt Blair, great outside linebackers. Charlie Weaver on the right side. Here's an off tackle pickup of 1. It's going to set up 3rd and 4. Adeline 48. Irvine with the ball. 12 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Guessed wrong, off tackle left. He's going to get a stop. 0 for Nottingham. On the negatively anticipated roll of 5. And 4th and 4, we'll see a punt. Tom Blanchard's going out of bounds. And it looks like Blanchard, with the cadence, got an offside call against Adeline. 2nd first down on penalties for Irvine on this drive. And they've got the ball at the Adeline 43. Chewed 4 minutes up so far in this drive. Adeline looking for a big play on defense. Try to get Irvine off the field. Off tackle left, Ricky Bell's going to only get 2 yards. Jay called the play pass, but he had the run zone stuffed. 2-yard pickup for Bell. 5 carries, 3 yards so far for the rookie. Again, filling in for an injured Coleman at running back. Ronnie Coleman going out early. Here's a 28-yard bomb with Adeline looking run. Greg Landry looks deep, finds veteran Haven Moses, 28 yards. Landry 10 of 15, 109. Moses with a nice game, 2 for 63. And from the Adeline 13, 17-3, Irvine leads. It's a pickup of 9 on a flat pass to Gainer. I'm going to check Irvine's kickers. Is that still Jim Turner? It is. I believe Jim Turner's been kicking for them for now 14 years. He's another guy that's been around forever. So 2nd and 1 at the Adeline 4. Nottingham being keyed off left tackle. 0. Hangs onto the ball. Fumble chance jumped up to 40 there. So 3rd and 1. As Dennis mentioned, Irvine went for it earlier. There's an off tackle keyed again correctly. But Art Shell makes the block. And Don Nottingham, even with a great call, back-to-back keys correctly for Jay, Nottingham able to get in the end zone. It'll be a 24-3 lead for Irvine. And that was very needed. Short kickoff, Jim Turner only to the 15, and Gary Davis, 36-yard return. It's going to give Adeline the ball at the Irvine 49, down 24-3. So at least they've got a short field to start with here. Adeline put up a lot of points last year. I have to check to see what they did this year. It was a good offensive team last year. Kind of middle of the pack. 250 points, 224 allowed. As you see, they were 7-7. Irvine 11-3 on the year. It's Craig Morton looking deep, incomplete. Jerome Barkham, the intended target there, would have had 38. Guess wrong. Good call by Rick. 2nd and 10. See the nice interceptions there on the defensive card. Interception on 6 and 12. So 2-yard pickup. Gary Davis, 10 carries, 30 yards. Definitely want to get more out of him. 3rd and 8. Calhoun in 4-3. No blitz being shown. It's going to be end run left, guess wrong for Calhoun. See if containment jumps up. It does. Keeps it to a 6-yard pickup, but it does set up a makeable 4th and 2. And we'll see Craig Morton out. Tight end offense here. Gary Davis and Mike Pruitt in. It's going to be a look and guess wrong to Fugit. It's going to pick up 14. Adeline needed that. Now they're at the 27 of Irvine.
I'm back to him. So what did I miss? How did Irvine get to 24?
Well, they had a long drive. They twice converted on once on a 3rd down on an interference penalty, and then on a punt. They drew an offsides call, so they kept the drive alive with 2 penalties and ended up just driving down and getting a short touchdown. And Adeline got a 36-yard kickoff return on a short kickoff and started at the 49, just picked up a 4th down conversion, 14 yards to Fugit, I believe it was, or Barkham, one of the two. So they've got a chance to get it back, but now there's only 6 minutes left in the 3rd, and looking guessed wrong, incomplete. It's going to set up 3rd and 4.
Pretty much on a must get a touchdown drive here.
I agree. Even a field goal's just not really going to do it. You've got to almost go for the touchdown here, unless you end up like 4th and 11 or something. And he's not a good field goal kicker, so. Third and 4. Goes back to the tight end set here. It's going to be a flat to Fugit. 12-yard pickup. So inside the 10 at the Irvine 9. Two tight end, 1 running back set. Based on the score, all offensive formations are on the table and defensive for passing situations here. So it's going to be short to Barkham. And he's going to get sacked. That's going to hurt. Randy White, the Manster. And it's going to make it 2nd and goal, 16, needing a touchdown. That's a really big sack on 1st down for Irvine's defense.
Now, is the restriction not to blitz in place there when he was inside the 10, or is that lifted?
It's lifted at either 1 to 9.
Correct. Okay, got it.
2nd and goal. This is where you need Gary Davis to finally pick up a big run for you.
Rick already anticipated that and had the right call there.
And Adeline gets settled with an offsides. Going to make a 2nd goal to 21.
5 penalties today on Adeline for 31 yards. Only a 1 penalty on Irvine for 4 yards.
But Adeline's also had the turnovers working against them. When you're facing, when you're a 4 seed facing a 1, you want those breaks going your way, not against you. Going to a 3-3-5. Gary Davis still there, and he's going to end run Davis again. 3-yard pickup.
Then you're kicking yourself for not running off tackle there to pick up the extra 10 yards on whatever box is there.
Yes.
Run still in play here because you want to set up a makeable fourth down because you need that touchdown.
Calhoun's not a terrible runner here, but he's not as dangerous as Gary Davis is. But Gary Davis now up to 12 carries. There's Calhoun off tackle. Almost sure setting up a attempt to go for it on fourth down rather than, no, he is going to kick it. Just wanted to get away from that bad field goal range, I suppose.
It didn't help. Just not Adeline's day so far.
No, this kind of reminds me of their Super Bowl game last year. They're in a tough situation coming in against a strong team, and the breaks just are going against them. They had a fumble with Solomon on a punt return in the Super Bowl last year, and I want to say similar. I believe Leahy missed an early field goal in that game too. It's a loss of 1 for Ricky Bell. Second and 11.
The other thing this does for you too, if you're Irvine, is that now you have a commanding lead. You can save some of those guys that you might have been worried about carries. You can basically, give your backups a little bit of a run.
This is a big part of your championship earlier was Chiba City, I think, wasn't it? You got a big lead in a conference or championship game, I believe, against Great White. Were able to keep I can't remember your quarterback, but you're able to keep his carries down. And he had just enough in the Super Bowl that you're able to get by. Well, he had like 1 or 2 carries left, or 1 or 2 pass attempts left.
Yeah, no, I actually I used every single one up. I had the last one was in overtime.
Yeah. Who's your quarterback? I forgot who it was. Charlie Johnson?
Charlie Johnson was the starter and Fouts was the backup. So Fouts got in there, didn't actually throw a pass in overtime, but he handed the ball off to set up the game-winning field goal.
Score gains for 2 yards. Less than 2 minutes to go in the third. 24-3 Irvine. Here's Ricky Bell picking up 4, and I believe Ricky Bell is probably that designated guy to take on some extra attempts here. Bell being the backup halfback playing for the injured Ronnie Coleman. He's a low fumble guy, so.
Yeah, and if you're on the other side, you're like, man, I don't care about carries. I'm going to use them all up to do whatever I can to get back in the game. Exactly. Because you're not going to be playing next week.
The correct double team, looking for the hopefully interception that can get you right back in the game. Adeline's got us some decent interception. They've got a 2 through 7, 11 and 12, and with 2 men on 3 and 12. But the rolls just are not rewarding them even when they make great calls in this one. They had a couple of back-to-back keys on Nottingham earlier in the game, got a 0, and gave up a touchdown. So Jay's making a lot of good calls. He's just not getting any kind of rolls to back it up. And now you got a couple of problems if you're Adeline. It's getting late as if you're down by 3 touchdowns. You're going to almost need a quick strike kind of touchdown or a quick turnover, or the math's just not going to work out good for 3 long drives for the most part. So you need to do something on this drive. It can't be a 7-minute drive to get a touchdown. You need to score a touchdown mostly, but you don't want it to eat up half of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because once you start airing it out, trying to get a big play, if you can't get it with your running back, you're susceptible to a sack, and his pass blocking isn't the best.
Yeah.
So you're caught between a rock and a hard place here.
Fugit's got some flats that are guessed wrong for long gains and things like that. So
Penalty helps.
Yep. We'll get a little bit of a clock stoppage and 15 yards, so out to the Adeline 41. But you're just not going to get enough guess wrong plays passing at this point with a Rick calling pass that, like Fugit's long gains, guess wrong, or David Knight or Solomon. Just not going to get many shots at that. You're going to have to probably roll a 12 off the short pass card, or here's a guess wrong for Fugit. We'll see. He's got that big play. Nope. 8 yards and a fumble, and he picks it up and gains some. But you see there, he's got the 2 and 11 long gains flat, and that's exactly what Adeline needs. They had the perfect play called. Double team out there, so it was guessed wrong, both quarterback and receiver card. He got a nice play for 8, but he really needs a big play pretty soon.
Barkham's got some big plays on his, too.
Yes. But it's like running the ball. If you're flat passing, there's just a lot of plays that are going to be inbounds and only gaining, 3 or 4 yards. And those are really dangerous when you're down 3 touchdowns with 13 minutes to go. So that's kind of what Rick's doing probably too on defense, thinking I just don't want to get beat on a guess wrong pass deep, and I'll give him some of the underneath and running stuff.
Yeah. And I think he's happy if Jay takes a nice long drive, eats up a lot of time.
Yep. You can play ball control on defense as well. 0 for Mike Pruitt, Randy White in to make the play. So Jay just trying to stay out of 3rd and long, but again, just not getting the rolls off the defensive card there when he needs a guess wrong off the offensive card. You decide to run, take a little extra time, but you don't get any rewards. So it's a rough game for Adeline. Give Irvine credit. They are the better team, and they're being well coached too. There's 15-yard big pickup to Fugit to keep their hopes alive down to the Irvine 33, 12-18 remaining in the 4th quarter. Irvine's got a great team this year. Maybe hard to say. It's hard to compare them with the second tier of NFC teams, but they're right in there with the best teams in the league. Wilmington had the best record, but I think Jay would tell you there's, it was a good team, maybe not as 14-0 team, but there's a lot of other teams that are kind of right there for the best team in 77.
Yeah, how do you rank the remaining teams? Obviously, Irvine's going to be the best out of this conference, but the other conference, one of them hasn't played yet. So what do you see in that? In that matchup, obviously, like you said, the 14-0 team is Jay's other team the best team?
I think they probably are. They've got such a great defense and very steady running game. Kenny Anderson's not one of his best cards, but he's one of those guys. He's got really good guess wrong long, and they just kind of run and hit you deep, and giving up 11 points a game. That's really hard to beat them. I think there's a lot of evenness, though, after that. Steubenville, St. Louis, Dallas, Irvine, Chiba City, all very close teams, I think. I think there's a little bit of a drop-off in the AFC after that. I felt like Memphis was good, but I didn't feel like they were quite on Chiba City or Irvine's level. And Adeline, probably the weaker of the 8 playoff teams. They were 7-7. Kind of rare, actually, that we get a 500 team make the playoffs, but this year the NFC just dominated the AFC in interconference play.
All right, so this is pretty much worked out the way Rick wanted, even though Jay's on the verge of scoring. He's certainly used up a lot of time, which makes it, now you really have to be perfect if you're if you can score here, number one, and number two, you have to be perfect on defense and maybe get a turnover.
Yeah. And again, he has maybe 6 minutes off the clock if he does go ahead and punch it in. But there's no doubt the most important thing is to score 7. You've absolutely got to get this down to a 14-point game on this possession. So whatever it takes, you've got to get a touchdown. But you'd like to have had some big play to where you got in a little quicker. Big play for Gary Davis of 60 yards. Unfortunately, he's hurt on the play.
Where's the other one?
Yeah, finish.
Uh-oh. Hunter used the word trauma to describe the pain she felt from the onions.
Oh, from her cutting the onions with her eyes?
Exporting.
It's 24-10 Irvine as Adeline gets the extra point. They had an illegal motion on the first extra point attempt, which was no good. And he kicks it deep, and Turnell Middleton, great returner, 33 yards, almost out to midfield. So 9 minutes left, 24-10. So Adeline accomplished goal number 1, get a touchdown. We see Mike Hogan at fullback. Short guessed wrong, incomplete.
Duke Ferguson, ex-Seahawk.
I probably should have known that. I had a couple of replays with the late 70s Seahawks in the board game era, but I didn't remember that name. I remember Steve Rabel.
Yeah, he later became the voice of the Seahawks.
Wasn't Don Testerman there?
Yeah, Don Testerman, sure.
Sherman Smith or
Sherman Smith, the tank.
Yeah, of course Zorn and Largent are easy ones. Sam McCullum maybe.
Yes, and Sam McCullum.
Yep.
He got dropped a little bit. He was a strong proponent of the union, players union, and he got blackballed after a couple seasons.
Yeah, maybe it's a masochistic kind of thing, but when Strat had expansion with the Buccaneers and Seahawks, I had a replay with both teams just to see what first-year teams look like. And, of course, baseball was doing the same thing with the Blue Jays and the Mariners. So I wasn't the only one, but, a few of us kind of did those kind of I think all of us want to take the great teams. You want to replay the 75 Reds and things like that. But it's kind of cool taking a really bad team and, just having fun knowing there's no way we're going to the playoffs. Just have fun with what you have.
Yeah. Oh, that's a killer what there. 2 guys in the zone, but he landed on the quarterback's guard.
Yeah. Down to the 31.
Yeah, speaking of those old Seahawks, Jay's quarterback is going to be Jim Zorn next year, I think. He's got Zorn as a backup right now.
Yep. Zorn's about to come into some pretty good years. It's kind of funny. He reminds me a little bit of the guy I've got on High Plains, Lynn Dickey, and that they're going to throw some interceptions, but they can definitely make some plays for you, kind of like Steve Grogan does for Mert's team.
Yeah, absolutely. So a field goal here pretty much ends it. I mean, Jay's really got a fine margin for error. He needs a stop or a turnover. But if Irvine can kick a field goal, there's no way you can overcome 3 scores with this little time left.
And I think this is Jim Turner's field goal strength is that he doesn't have a big drop-off in this particular range that they're at right now. It's only going to pick up 1. We'll take a quick look at Jim Turner. Yeah, he's solid at this range, 2 through 7 and 12. Doesn't get a lot of his short kicks made. He's got quite a few misses there, but not much of a drop-off. Here the 23 to 32 range. 3rd and 9.
Be a bold call to key gains here on a line buck, but it's hard to do. You really want that variable field goal play still in range.
So left flat pass. Oh, he's got to pick up 10. That's a killer if you're Adeline.
Well, so much for my idea. That would have been even worse.
So it looks like unless we get a fumble coming up here, Going to run it down into the low 4-minute range, set up about a 60% field goal. It's a correct double team, or no, 2-minute zone.
Wow, that would have been huge if he would have been able to get that.
Yep.
You get that flat pack pick return bonus with it being
8 and 36 chance of a touchdown there in the flats.
right. Gosh, you just imagine that if it would have been picked in return for a touchdown, and suddenly it's 24-17. We got a game.
Yep. That's the deep sea fishing hook you bait if you're on defense and you really need a big fish at this point in the game. That's the one you're hoping for right there. The flat pass 2 men outside flat. Get a pick and a good chance at a long interception return.
Yeah, Bell hadn't lost for 6 there, but offsetting penalties wipes it out. That would have taken it back to the worst field goal range or lower field goal range.
Now, back in the days of the cards, there used to be places where the field goal range was not graduated, and you would have gaps to where maybe you're better in the 13 to 22 range than the 23 to 32 range. Used to create some weird, things on 3rd and 4th down. It's like, okay, if I can lose a yard on each of the next 2 plays, I'll get in good field goal range. And, without variable field goals, that was kind of weird where you'd have to hope to lose a yard or 2 and set up that. Now, back in the board game days, I used to smooth those over to where you weren't actually getting a benefit from kicking farther out, but the cards actually showed those. So we had to make a couple of adjustments. So a big 3rd and 3 is going to pick up 0 off tackle Nottingham, who, like Bell, has struggled to get it going on the ground. But Irvine's been sitting on a big lead, 14 points or more most of this game, and that'll just about do it. 17-point lead, 3:36 left.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I don't really match up well with this Irvine team. They spanked me pretty good in the regular season, but Jay, for his part, he's got the other team, the undefeated team to fall back on.
Yes.
And it's removed the always strange occurrence where you could wind up having your 2 teams meet in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's gotten close a few times, but it's so far had never came up. But it got pretty close a couple of times.
All right. Well, I'm gonna jump off. I got to finish some work here. But thanks for letting me tune in.
Thanks for
I'll talk to you later.
Here.
Yeah.
So up 27-10, Irvine. Looking forward to a conference championship rematch or a matchup with Chiba City. Jay's going to see if he can find a way to get down, get some quick points, get some onside kicks, but definitely a remote chance here. Calhoun got 6 out to the Adeline 39, 2nd and 9, 3 minutes left. Short pass to Solomon. He's got 14. He got out of bounds. Inside Irvine territory at the 47. And again, Adeline struggles a little bit with long field goal range. So getting to the 30 and trying a quick field goal is not as likely. Here's 14 to Barkham, and he gets out of bounds. Statistically, Morton hasn't been bad. 17 of 29, 206. No touchdowns and a pick. Earlier missed field goal by Leahy, weighing big here. 27-10, you'd feel like you had at least a little more of a shot if you're sitting at 27-13. Here's a play made by Dave Washington out in the flats, incomplete, 2nd and 10. There's a draw to Dennison off tackle. It's got 4 down to the 29, setting up 3rd and 6. There's the 2-minute warning. Leahy's going to go ahead and try the field goal. At this point, you're down to 17 total plays possible, so yeah, it's going to be no good. And Jay was just looking to go ahead and take a shot at it there. So we'll see if there's Greg Lander just taking a knee. We'll see if Adelaide is going to take some timeouts here. Nope. Down 17. They're just going to let the clock run out. Good season for Adeline. They didn't really have a great team, but they got back into the playoffs. Won the AFC title again back in '76. And kind of a down year for the AFC compared to the NFC, and they're able to get the 4th playoff spot. Had a chance here to upset Irvine, but just off to about as bad a start as you can expect. I believe fumbled the opening kickoff either once or twice in a row. I know they fumbled the opening kickoff, but I believe they might have fumbled their next kickoff. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look at the game log and see exactly how that did play out. So yeah, it looks like there was a fumble on the opening kickoff there. And looks like Gary Davis returned at 25 on the second kickoff and lost a fumble. So yeah, it looks like back-to-back kickoffs, they lost a fumble. So you don't have to play Strat forever to realize just how rare that is, losing your first 2 kickoffs. Unbelievably tough. And we'll go ahead and shut down the broadcast. Congratulations to both coaches, Jay, on a nice season again for Adeline, and of course to Rick on his great season, going 11-3. And he will host the AFC title game against Dennis and Chiba City. So from Irvine, we're going to sign off here. Hope you all have a great night. We'll see you in the conference championships.